After years of research, several years ago, I switched from MailChimp to ActiveCampaign. Now, why do I love ActiveCampaign so much? I've already done a MailChimp versus ActiveCampaign comparison. Now it's time to do an ActiveCampaign review. ActiveCampaign was the best choice for me as an email marketing platform. Now, does that make it the best choice for you too? Not necessarily. I've said in prior reviews, such as my AWeber review, that choosing the right email marketing platform is a bit like choosing a spouse. There are going to be quirks that you don't like. They may even drive you crazy, but you have to decide what it is that you must have and what you can't stand. There is some choice out there that is better for you than all the others. I want to help you find that. If at any point in this ActiveCampaign review you decide that ActiveCampaign is right for you, I have an ActiveCampaign free trial coupon for you. At cadavy.net/AC, you'll get a 14-day free trial to try out all of ActiveCampaign's features. They'll even do free migration if you decide to switch. And I'll earn a commission if you sign up through my link. It costs you nothing extra. It's a great way to thank me for the work that goes into this review and to make it possible for me to make more email marketing content like this. As you'll see, this won't affect what I say about ActiveCampaign. I want you to make the right choice for you and your business. I'm going to tell you about the good and the bad. Here's what I love about ActiveCampaign, along with what fits my business. I'm going to expand on each of these later. 1, you can do just about anything with ActiveCampaign. My personality is such that I want to dream up the right way to do my email marketing, and then I want to build exactly that. I can always do that with ActiveCampaign, and I personally struggle being limited by a tool. But some people are good at that. MailChimp was extremely limited. That did not fit me and my business. 2, ActiveCampaign's automations are easy to understand and visualize. This is because they have a visual drag and drop editor. They were the first service that I came across that had a drag and drop editor, besides Infusionsoft, which I wanted to avoid because everyone was calling it Confusionsoft. The moment that I saw ActiveCampaign's automation builder, I was in love. Many other services have visual editors now, and I'm not sure which ones were simply following ActiveCampaign's lead. 3, ActiveCampaign has versatile goal tracking. You're probably doing email marketing because you have some goal you want to meet with your prospects. With ActiveCampaign, you can track the success of your efforts with goal tracking. Because you can do just about anything with ActiveCampaign, your goal can be just about anything, whether that's registering for a webinar or buying a product. 4, ActiveCampaign has tons of integrations. When I started with ActiveCampaign, they were up and coming. Now they're one of the top email marketing platforms, so they have more integrations than ever, and those integrations tend to be rich, giving lots of control. 5, ActiveCampaign has message variables. This is my favorite ActiveCampaign feature. You can create a library of plain text or HTML snippets that you can then reuse throughout your campaigns. For example, if you want to change a coupon code in an automation on a regular basis, you can do that. 6, ActiveCampaign has the best deliverability in the business. This wasn't readily apparent to me. I do think MailChimp has good deliverability, and I once had a deliverability issue with ActiveCampaign, which support quickly straightened out for me. But according to a recent report by Email Tool Tester, ActiveCampaign leads the industry with a 97% deliverability rate. By contrast, MailChimp and ConvertKit have about 81% deliverability rates, and AWeber only a 75% deliverability rate. 7, ActiveCampaign has advanced tiers of service. Switching email marketing platforms is a pain, so you hate to have to switch simply because your business grows. With ActiveCampaign, you can upgrade to a pro level plan, which has additional features such as lead scoring, a CRM, SMS marketing, and on-site chat. 8, ActiveCampaign has competitive pricing. I personally would not let a few bucks difference force me to pick a different email marketing platform, but ActiveCampaign's pricing happens to be a great deal. No email marketing platform is perfect. Here are things that have bothered me about ActiveCampaign. 1, it has kind of a clunky email editing experience. I got spoiled with MailChimp's email editor. It is the easiest to use. ActiveCampaign's email editor has some strange quirks that slow me down a little bit. 2, it is cumbersome to edit multiple emails in an automation. Editing emails in an automation is a pain in ActiveCampaign. ConvertKit is the best at this experience. I'll show you that later. 3, you have to build everything from scratch. Many email marketing platforms have shortcuts for doing certain things, such as identifying inactive contacts, adjusting granular subscription preferences, or delivering lead magnets. But on ActiveCampaign, you have to build all of these things from scratch, which steepens the learning curve. 4, there's occasional slow performance. Now, when I first joined ActiveCampaign several years ago, performance was painfully slow. I think they were experiencing growing pains as they have quickly grown to be a dominant email marketing platform. Performance has improved dramatically over that time, but I still do occasionally experience slow performance. I feel like it's mostly when I'm viewing reports. 5, the features can be overwhelming. Because you can do anything with ActiveCampaign, there are a lot of features to sort through, and this makes the learning curve steep. If you aren't willing to put in time to learn the ins and outs of ActiveCampaign, you may be better off with a more simple platform, such as MailChimp, or even ConvertKit is more simple. Now that I have the basic details out of the way, let me tell you about my perspective. This will help you see where you and your business might be different, where you might have different preferences in your email marketing platform. I am an author and a podcaster. I build my list with lead magnets and email courses. I regularly send original content. I never buy nor sell emails. I sell online courses. In addition to my books, I sell online courses direct to my audience. My payment processor is Sendowl, and ActiveCampaign integrates with them beautifully. I do webinars. I often sell my courses via live and evergreen webinars. My webinar platform is Webinar Jam, and ActiveCampaign again integrates with them beautifully. And I do occasional affiliate marketing. Some email marketing platforms frown upon affiliate marketing if you're doing it really heavily. I do only occasional affiliate marketing, and I haven't had any problems with ActiveCampaign in that regard. Now let's take a look at some of the ways I use ActiveCampaign in my business. ActiveCampaign has always been built to have automations. This is a contrast to some of the original email marketing platforms that have been around for much longer, such as MailChimp and AWeber. AWeber and MailChimp both have automations, but they are limited. Limited automations was one of the main reasons I switched from MailChimp to ActiveCampaign. I believe that because ActiveCampaign has always had automations, that is part of why they are so good at automations. Automations enable you to automatically send emails to contacts based upon a variety of factors, such as when they signed up, how much they are interacting with your emails, for example. Let's take a look at some of the building blocks of ActiveCampaign's automations. ActiveCampaign has a library full of pre-built automations that you can start with, such as prospect follow-ups, automations to increase referral traffic, sales team automation, and more. But you can also start from scratch. And there are a number of ways you can trigger an automation, including having a tag added, subscribing to a list, or submitting a form. And there are e-commerce and on-site options in the Pro plan. Or you can choose no trigger at all because there are other ways to add contacts to an automation. You can do it manually, or you can add a contact to an automation from another automation. From there, you can start building the actions in your automation. You can send a message or notify a team member. You can also add wait conditions, if-then conditions, split traffic for testing, skip to other parts of the automation, track goals, start or end automations, or post a webhook. Finally, you can subscribe or unsubscribe to lists, update contact details, add and remove tags, or add a note. Lead scoring, SMS and site messages, and Facebook custom audience management are all pro features. Contrast that with ConvertKit's automations, which are more limited. You can trigger a ConvertKit automation when the contact submits a form, makes a purchase, has a tag added, or based upon a custom field. From there, you can create conditions. You can create actions such as a delay, adding a tag, moving the subscriber to another automation, or starting an email sequence. You can also create events, which are a bit like ActiveCampaign's goals, but without reporting. You don't create emails in ConvertKit's automations. Instead, you send your contacts into a sequence, which is a series of emails sent according to the schedule and conditions you create. As you can see, you can do just about anything with ActiveCampaign's automations. So where do you begin? Here's a few ways I use ActiveCampaign's automations in my business. The primary way I build my Design for Hackers list is through an email course. ActiveCampaign makes it easy for me to build my email course exactly how I'd like to build it. Many marketers build very simple email sequences for their email courses. A contact signs up, and then that contact immediately starts getting lessons. And I don't do that method. My email course is manually synced with this countdown timer on my site. You have to sign up by Friday night, and a new course begins each Monday morning. When I first tried this methodology, I was on MailChimp. I had to manually start my email course each week because that was the only way to do it the way that I wanted at the time. Now here's how I use ActiveCampaign to build the welcome sequence of my free email course, Design Pitfalls. There's a few things going on here. The automation sends all contacts a welcome email. The automation verifies that it's not Friday. If it's not Friday, the automation waits until it is Friday. At 11 a.m., it sends a pump-up email to get the students ready for next week's course and encourage them to share it with friends. If it is Friday and before 7 p.m., the automation skips the pump-up email. The contact will start getting lessons the following Monday morning. Now, if it is Friday and after 7 p.m., the contact missed enrollment for next week's class, they'll get the pump-up email the following Friday morning and lessons the Monday after that. Now, it was impossible for me to automate this with MailChimp. With ActiveCampaign, it is relatively easy. With automations, you don't have to treat all of your contacts the exact same. You can change your messages according to what they're interested in and the level of interest that they show. When I run a webinar, I don't want to send the same email to every person on my list. I want to send them the appropriate email for their level of engagement. And here's the automation I use to promote an evergreen webinar. First, it verifies that they haven't already purchased the product I pitch in the webinar. If they have, they get added to an automation for a different product. Then it sends a series of emails to get them interested in the webinar and to encourage them to sign up. If they sign up, they immediately hit the goal toward the end of the webinar and the automation ends. And if they don't sign up, they get added to an automation promoting a rebroadcast of the webinar. I'm able to tell whether the contact signed up because ActiveCampaign integrates very well with my webinar platform, Webinar Jam. This enables me to customize my messaging in other automations based upon the contact's engagement with the webinar. Here's the Webinar Jam integration panel. I can add tags based upon whether the contact registered, attended, missed, or based on how long they stayed in the webinar. These tags can then trigger automations with ActiveCampaign. If a contact isn't opening my emails, I don't want to be sending them emails. It costs me money, and it makes it more likely that my emails will go to spam or Gmail's promotions tab. People who don't open my emails make it harder for other emails to get to the people who really want them. The Pro plan of ActiveCampaign has lead scoring built in, but even on the Lite plan, you can roll your own automations to tell how engaged subscribers are. Here's an automation I got from ActiveCampaign's library of automations, which I use to tell which contacts aren't engaging with my emails. When a contact subscribes, this automation adds a 0 days tag. As time passes, it adds new tags for 7 days, 30 days, 60 days, etc. Each time they open an email, a separate automation removes them from this automation, removes all those tags, and starts this automation all over again. Anytime one of these tags is added, I can use it to trigger a reactivation campaign, which I'll talk about in a bit. This automation can be overwhelming at first, and this is one of those cases where I wish ActiveCampaign had a more out-of-the-box solution. But because you can do anything with ActiveCampaign, sometimes you have to build things from scratch. ActiveCampaign has an option to delete inactive subscribers, which I don't recommend. You should at least run a reactivation campaign first. Some subscribers don't have tracking turned on, so their opens aren't recorded. Others still want to be subscribed, but they've just been busy. Here's my reactivation sequence. I send one email asking if they still want to be subscribed, and I briefly explain why I keep my email list clean. In 1 week, I send them another email. If they already clicked on the confirmation link in the previous email, they've already been removed from the automation using a separate automation. And after another week, I send them an email letting them know that they have been unsubscribed, why, and how they can resubscribe in the future. The automation then unsubscribes them. My emails also have a link to a form where they can enter their email addresses to let me know that they don't have tracking enabled. This form adds a tag that I use to filter those contacts out. I used to add this tag when they clicked on a link, but when people don't have tracking on, it makes those links work not so reliably. I send a simple "do you still want my emails" confirmation. There are even better ways to run a reactivation campaign. You can send bonus content. You can try to get the contact more engaged again. To know how well your automations are converting, ActiveCampaign has goal tracking. A common way to measure whether a goal has been met is if a tag has been added to the contact. This tag can be added because your payment processor recorded a sale or because your webinar platform recorded that your contact attended a webinar. On the goal report, you can see what percentage of contacts complete this goal based upon the number of contacts who enter that automation. You can also see whether the completion rate has increased or decreased, how long it takes for contacts to reach that goal, and you can browse all contacts to see who did and didn't reach the goal. As I said earlier, ActiveCampaign's message variables is my favorite feature. It saves me a ton of time and effort, and neither MailChimp nor ConvertKit has a comparable feature. AWeber does have something similar with its global text snippets, but they are very basic. Let's say you have the first name of only some of your contacts, which is the case with my list. I usually don't require a first name to sign up to my list, but sometimes I get a first name, such as when somebody buys a product. So wouldn't it be nice to greet your contacts by name in the cases when you do have it? You can do this, but it's cumbersome. In this text, I'm checking to see whether the contact has a first name in the database. I'm also filtering for generic terms added by other systems, such as a dash or guest. And if they have a first name, I say hey and then their first name. If they don't, I just say hey there. With message variables, I don't have to type that every single time. I created a variable that's simply greeting hey. If I have the contact's name, it shows up in the email. If I don't have the contact's name, it defaults to hey there. Where message variables really save me a lot of time is by enabling me to use the same automation over and over again for my webinars, and I can quickly change out all the details. Here are variables for a webinar I run called Bust Through Creative Blocks. You can see I have a bunch of different variables here, such as the date and time of the webinar, the price of the product, deal terms, coupon code, and more. Each time I run a new webinar, I can change each of these variables to match any schedule changes or offer changes. For example, here's the variable for my motion mail deadline timer, and here it is in an email. I did mention earlier that one of the cons of ActiveCampaign is their email editing experience. I switched from MailChimp, and MailChimp happens to have the best email editing experience. I really like to send simple emails, just basic text like it was an email from a friend. I found that very hard to do with ActiveCampaign. For a long time, I used ActiveCampaign's hybrid HTML WYSIWYG editor, which was triggered by a really basic template that I created and uploaded. The interface for the HTML editor looks like it was pulled from some free open source project, but it does enable you to create an email with as little or as much formatting as you'd like. However, adding images is a bit of a chore. You have to select them from a file browser. There's no drag and drop option. The alternative to this, if you want to have control over the HTML, is to edit pure HTML with a preview on the side, but you can't manipulate it visually. You have to strictly write in HTML. And lately, I have started using ActiveCampaign's rich text editor. They have some nice templates, but I still want to send the plainest email possible. They do have some plain looking emails, but they have some degree of minimal formatting, which you can't remove. You don't have access to the underlying HTML. But with some adjustments, I can make my email pretty basic. I can make it automatically take up the whole window, and I can tweak the typography to be slightly larger and have a little more leading. The most frustrating part of ActiveCampaign's rich text editor is adding images. Imagine you've just typed out a great email. Now you want to add one image to that email. You can't simply add an image to a block of text. Instead, you have to create two blocks of text, one for before the image and one for after the image. If you've made any formatting changes, you'll have to keep an eye on those to stay consistent. That's one thing to deal with when you want to add one image, but when you want to add several, it becomes a chore. The one saving grace of the visual editor is that you can drag and drop images into the email. ActiveCampaign even has a basic image editor where you can crop the image. Contrast this with the editing experience of MailChimp. You have access to the underlying code, so you can create a truly plain email provided you make a basic template first. They don't have a full width option natively, but you can add an image to the text anywhere you like. MailChimp's built-in image editor is extremely powerful. You can resize, crop, add custom text, and format that text on your images. I miss MailChimp's email editing experience. It would save me a little time to have that same experience on ActiveCampaign, but the highly customizable automations I can build on ActiveCampaign more than make up for that potential time savings. ConvertKit could be a happy medium. Their templates are limited, which is fine with me, but their email editing experience is slightly easier in that you can create inline images and you can create a totally plain email and even edit the underlying HTML. The other ActiveCampaign con is the experience of editing multiple emails in an automation. If you want to make some quick edits, it takes some time. Let's say I'm working on an email course and I want to quickly edit the first few lines of each email. I'll click on an email and it takes me to the editor for that email. Note that I can't command click to open it in another tab. Whether they mean to or not, ActiveCampaign has disabled command click from the automation editor. If I wanted to switch back and forth between various emails, intuitively I'd be inclined to open the same automation in various tabs, then open the respective emails from each of those tabs. But ActiveCampaign does have an easier place to manage your automation messages. In the automations section, there's a Manage Messages area. From here, you can see all of the messages in each of your automations. You can edit each one, or you can command click to open each in a new tab to more easily edit your entire sequence. Contrast that with ConvertKit's sequences, wherein it's as intuitive and easy as it could possibly be to edit multiple emails in your sequence. Again, it would save me a lot of time to have ConvertKit's automation email editing experience on ActiveCampaign, but choosing an email marketing platform is a little bit like choosing a spouse, and ActiveCampaign makes up for it with their message variables and their more robust automations and their advanced segmentation. Speaking of segmentation, another reason I switched from MailChimp to ActiveCampaign was that MailChimp has limited segmentation options. ActiveCampaigns, by contrast, are robust. You can combine attributes and/or operators, and you can mix and match those groups of traits with another and/or operator. With MailChimp, you can only segment by and/or. However, MailChimp's Pro plan allows more sophisticated segmenting for an additional $199 per month. In my search for the perfect email marketing platform, I saw many others, some of which I've already mentioned. Here's how I compare ActiveCampaign to some of the leading alternatives. If I weren't on ActiveCampaign, I would probably be using ConvertKit. Their automations are much easier to build, though they aren't as versatile as ActiveCampaign's, and their segmentation options aren't as sophisticated either. They also don't have goal tracking or message variables. MailChimp. You already know that I switched from MailChimp to ActiveCampaign. If you primarily want to do basic email blasts, if really attractive templates are important to you, and you can live with only very basic automations, you might like MailChimp. MailChimp is free for up to 2,000 contacts, though if you're serious, I'd strongly caution against locking yourself into an email marketing platform just because it's cheaper on the short term. Switching is a pain, and it may cost you more in the long run. AWeber. AWeber has been around forever, so they integrate with anything. There's no one particular thing that is special about AWeber. It has just okay email editing experience, templates, and automation. One edge it has, in my opinion, is global text snippets. I go more in depth in my AWeber review. If you're a small business with 5,000 subscribers or more and you don't need much more than basic broadcasts and automations, AWeber may be a good choice. Their pricing is very competitive above 5,000 subscribers. Finally, let's look at pricing. I generally don't believe pricing should be a major factor in deciding the right email marketing platform for your business. Having the right features for your marketing strategy will ultimately make up for whatever price differences you find. But price is still a factor, so let's look at pricing for ActiveCampaign versus ActiveCampaign's alternatives. As you can see, if you're starting out with 500 contacts, ActiveCampaign's Lite plan is cheaper than both AWeber and ConvertKit. ConvertKit is almost double the price of ActiveCampaign if you're just starting out. MailChimp, as I've mentioned, is free below 2,000 contacts, but at 5,000 contacts and above, ActiveCampaign is the most expensive, about 10% more than ConvertKit, about 50% more than AWeber or MailChimp. As I've said, if you're going to be making full use of ActiveCampaign's rich automation features, it's well worth the price difference. In conclusion, ActiveCampaign is an incredibly versatile email marketing platform. You can build just about anything with it. The price is competitive. They have quickly become a dominant email marketing platform. It is well deserved. If you try out ActiveCampaign, please do me a favor, sign up through my affiliate link at cadavy.net/AC. You'll get a 14-day free trial and you'll help me make more videos like this one. By the way, some people who watch my videos are interested in learning more about how I use email marketing automation in my business. If you'd like a behind-the-scenes peek of my specific automations, sign up at cadavy.net/automation and I'll show you how my automations work. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to get updates when I post new videos. I'm David Cadavy. Thank you for watching.